Dignitas, because yes, Dignitas has trouble falling or not closing games, but if Dignitas crushes you, that's how they win, and Chris has to stop that from happening.
It's become a common problem for a lot of teams here as we get onto the Rift, is that when they win the games, you can see them a little reluctant to smile because it's been so tough, because there's still mistakes being made in these wins, and that ultimately means that everybody's getting better. Especially
with these teams' eyes on Worlds, they know everyone has to improve, even in victory, and it's just creating a lot more power and passion in NA.
All right, here we are, our final match of the day. Dignitas versus Curse, two of those long-standing teams in the North American League of Legends scene. We'll see what they can start off with, and we do see that shield going onto Scar on the Doran start.
And defensive wards, more so than not for Curse.
Yeah.
Not trying to do the group as 5. Very scared of that potential gold card that Kiwi Kid could lock on Twisted Fate here.
They are keeping power and numbers on both sides here, with Nijaki somewhat in mid. Keep vision on that roam, so they know where the AD carry, the back line of damage is. So they are moving safely towards the top side here.
But with all the wards that they're walking through, the defensive wards, it makes an invade a little bit questionable. I'm a little curious as to why Curse went so defensive in warding when they're the team that has level 1 Charm plus level 1 Thresh to catch someone out, but at the same time, they're still running around. They will not have much knowledge of where Dignitas starts, though.
Jackie has so little HP. 460 is so squishy. Got to be careful. Doesn't look like they're going to find any aggression, like you said. So the early wards, just about a line of scrimmage. We used to see Curse in the spring split doing this with bodies, but they have taken to wards as well.
I think the body defense got punished a little too much by some teams. They were finding ways of taking the vision and just killing teams. So teams haven't been doing much of that anymore.
No pressure on the buffs, but we are going to have Wraiths going over to Skara in the mid lane. A little bit of help from Patoy on that. Help him get a... actually, wait, does he go into the bottom lane then? He will actually be put in the long lane. Dig loves to do this.
So, yeah, that's Skara in the bottom, Kiwi Kid in mid. This is generally how they play TF. They don't put Kiwi Kid into a side lane when he's playing this specific champion. So, Skara pretty comfortable in the bot lane, but that is not an easy matchup for him.
Boy definitely not going to have fun either at long range. And actually, where are you going, Patoy? This gives him the opportunity to super roam.
We really have 1v1s going on. Draven can 1v1 against Zed, and Graves can 1v1 against Lee Sin, while the supports duo the jungle right now. So, interesting start.
It's exactly what happened when we saw Moscow 5 at the European Regionals last year when they played Shyvana Janna and they would just speed roam around the jungle. They've broken off of it now. They used to take this to kills after that, but Dignitas kind of bringing a little bit of that out.
And Dignitas is trying to scare Voyboy right now. They want to get a kill. The fear goes to a minion and Voyboy escapes the tether.
We already know that Lee Sin becomes a lot of early game aggression, but late game utility. So you can shut down the early game aggression. It's going to be tough to use him throughout the match.
Yeah, so much for the extended laning phase as well. 3v1 in both of these lanes.
Crazy.
These turrets are not long for this world.
They will be going down. Very reminiscent of our last matchup we just watched. We're going to see that happening quite quickly. Vulcan and Coast doing the same thing. We get Dignitas and Curse. Turrets down at 3.5.
And this actually opens up a little bit more farming opportunity for the person who's in the 1v2 lane, because we very rarely see the second turret traded. But if any teams were to do it, it would be Curse and Dignitas, as Voyboy is still level 1 and is yet to receive help.
Oh, man, he's got... Whoa! Flashing in, the Ignite goes down. I'm not going to call this one. Okay, it didn't go off.
Didn't go out. Didn't kill him. You had that one. You knew it wasn't going to happen.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. 4 minutes in, one turret already for both teams, and a dragon going down for Curse because they know there's so much aggression in the top lane.
These guys really want a lot of gold to happen right now. So 2 turrets by 4 minutes and 5 seconds, and Edward got a little scared at that dragon, but of course traded back again for Curse. This game has a lot of gold really early.
It's so early. 6.6 for both teams to say that at 4 minutes in. Doran's ring's coming out for Nijaki in middle. He knows that's going to be a battle between Kiwi Kid, and Kiwi has not backed yet, I think, on his last flask.
He's had to sustain out and almost get killed by Nijaki. He knew he was going to have to survive a little bit early, and he barely made it through.
He's got his Ignite up and some gold cards, so he doesn't have to worry about too much unless he gets charmed. So he's safe. That being blown by Nijaki in middle kind of relieves a bit of the pressure, and we're not going to see what Shifter did to Reggie's Ori and kind of threw him back and back and back. He'll have a lot more freedom.
And I need to see where the game goes from here as well, just because double turret kill in the lane where Voyboy is trying to farm. Not the best way of accelerating the match. Voyboy needs to be able to catch up. Likewise, the AD carry and support don't have much safety going around here. They're not at levels where their roaming skills are up, where like kill potential is high. The game becomes very awkward for these guys, and they don't really know where to go.
So it wasn't Shifter, it was Link. Getting my names mixed up. Link's Ori. But still, same thing going down in that mid lane. They're trying to keep the pressure onto Kiwi. It looks like they will now do that with the AD carry and the support. Edward now going to pressure onto Kiwi. Here comes Skara. They may try to activate something here.
It's always interesting where the AD carry and support go after they kill the first turret, because they have their choice of lanes. They decide not to lane against each other now, so it becomes a race of Cop and Edward trying to push down the mid turret against TF, and PewDiePie and Patoy trying to push down bottom.
Trying to guard this last turret. They don't want that advantage to happen. And with all of this, all the vision, we can still see that Voyboy pretty much freezing his lane in that top, making sure he can get all the CS since he's so far behind. And the pressure bottom goes for naught for Crumbs. He heads mid.
I wonder how long Kiwi Kid's going to be able to hold this one as well. Cannot get hit by too many spinning axes, and specifically cannot get hit by a death sentence from Thresh. Knowing the early game damage potential of Draven, it would mean death. And
Skara has not been getting a lot of lane love either. He is down at 19 CS. His adversary, if he was going to the side lane, is Voyboy at 36 CS.
And a Doran shield on Zed as well is not an item you see bought very frequently. It's because he was against such an aggressive 1v2 that he had to itemize defensively. That's not going to help him that much as he tries to transition here.
4 wards across the inventories along with potions just on the back side. They know they need to keep the vision up. Nobody is really behind in this matchup. The vision in favor of Dignitas with those 2 turrets, but they're not able to pressure that. Without the mid one being down, the outer ones are really just for the lane aggression. There it is, onto from PewDiePie. PewDiePie with the shield down barrier. Can he still throw out the damage? Get the buckshot back up. They turn this one around. He is just kiting the damage back in. Flashes to Q that comes out, and Kiwi Kid hitting 6 is able to end the fight. The Howling Gale goes up. There's not enough continuous damage as they just throw cards. Literally, the card damage not there.
Very impressive play by PewDiePie and Patoy, withstanding the barrage that is Ahri when she hits level 6, not dying to that, and then counter-pushing the turret was incredible management of play by PewDiePie. He dodged almost everything to stay alive.
That passive is so true great. You can see how much it kept him alive in that with the shield usage of barrier as well. No aggression coming from that in the bottom lane. And we do see that he continuously pushes tower. Top lane, Skara just wiping out that wave, gets himself up to now even CS with Voyboy.
So the side laners have been able to refarm up.
Yeah.
And like we said, if we're comparing the side laners versus the mid laners, because the turrets were pushed down so quickly and early, they were given the freedom to farm, because you can't realistically pressure Voyboy off when you've killed 2 turrets already in his lane. You're not going to invade the second turret to deny him minion kills. That's why he's been able to farm up so well.
And you can see not a lack of ward coverage, but just the option not to so far. I guess it's a lack of where that TF could have ported from once he hit 6. They are definitely going for the same fight in mid without the junglers that we saw coming up in the previous 2v1 side lanes. They're going for the Dorans and whatnot, but the pressure from Jackie went bottom, which allowed Kiwi Kid to start porting all over the place. So they still have to keep track of him.
And it's crazy how this game at 8 minutes and 30 seconds is 0-0 because it has not been slow-paced. 3 turrets down for Dignitas is a really fast pace for 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Even with all these jungle invades, they're not necessarily fighting each other, but that's not because they're not making moves.
And you can see just how, not uneasy, but unsure of what's going on. They thought they may be still able to grab that exit coming out from Dignitas, but they were so far out, it's really Curse scrambling to find where their buffs are going. Now this one going over to Dig, they're able to grab up their own and really controlling the map well with those 2 turrets down. Well, 3 now, sorry.
And it's on Curse to try to get some of those turrets back because they've kept the gold fairly close thanks to the Dragon and pretty solid farm across the board, but the wave clear from everybody on Dignitas is super strong. Every single member of that team has an ability to clear entire waves from range.
Another buff over to Crumbs. Skara cleaning out the top lane once again, has got himself almost up to near the highest. Oh, not the highest. That's 70 coming in on the Cop. He's been still farming himself away into base right now. Gets himself a BF sword. So the AD carries are quite matched in that realm. We got to say there's no kills around the map. So first blood's going to be pretty big for someone here.
It's going to be a little bit more significant because once you're pretty powered up, that first blood seems to swing things more because it's almost immediately followed by a turret push. Depending on how late that first blood goes, a Baron, who knows? The latest first blood we've ever had, we were talking about this earlier this week, was that 26 and I think in a half-minute game between, I think it was Marn and, was it Complexity?
It could have been Complexity.
Yeah, in the first split, and it was the only flawless win we've ever had in the LCS. So that's because the later the first blood happens, the more decisive it can become.
It's crazy. The amount of more items that you're using in the fight are going to mean way more kills. That burst damage definitely allows you to continue the fight, play back on the Crumbs. He knows he can't be locked out of anything else now. He goes and puts the terror down on the Voyboy. They try to lock down Crumbs. Nobody followed him into that engagement.
And to think, that was an unnecessary engagement because I'm a Cutie Pie stole that dragon away from Curse with a Graves ultimate. So Dignitas comes out of that one ahead, even if there was a little bit of crumbs just flying in there, because he wanted to be useful.
And collateral damage, picking up big things. That Blade of the Rune King almost finished up for Skara here. He's got 470 on him, so he's looking to get a grand in his pocket before he gets that out. It looks like he may have the first core item. And this also helps synergize with the team already, having that slow coming out of the Cutlass. Janna on your team as well for the speed up. These guys are ready into the fight phase.
It's getting there for sure, especially if that Blade of the Rune King is finished. I'm a Cutie Pie wants that Bloodthirster because his spike when he gets that is so much larger. Crumbs needs a little bit more tankiness if he's going to be going in alone like that. He needs to be able to combo up with Skara. Still a lot of items to be completed here for Dig.
Very interesting for Edward going for that gold generation early. Puts the Sightstone right into his pocket just now on this back. So he's going to continuously get that return on gold. Help here for Nijackie. They get a good Draven ulti. Saint says, no, we will not continue the engage without full vision.
And Curse has to be very careful not to get lulled into inactivity here. They're 1-1 on the week. In their defeat, they didn't seem to do much against, I believe it was Team Coast's map pressure. Curse got hurt a little bit early and then stopped doing things. And they're at risk of doing it a little bit here now because they've lost 3 turrets to 1, traded 1 dragon for 1, and aren't really able to gain control back of the map thanks to Dignitas' wave clear.
Where does this, I wouldn't say recent non-focus of the mid-turret, but why do we see it standing more once these sides are getting bashed down?
I think it's because teams are grouping so readily in the mid lane because they know what happens when it's down, specifically against Twisted Fate. Who controls the mid lane gets to control all the other lanes because it allows Kiwi Kid to roam around or not the rest of the map. So that's why Edward and Jackie are here. That's why Dignitas is sending 3 members up as well. That's why St. Vicious is staying close to mid lane in the jungle. They really care about those mid turrets.
Saint now backing before he returns back to that assistance in the lane. They have good, let's say, forward wards here. Still have a ward on the red, still have the ward on the blue coming from Dignitas' side. Curse's wards, since the beginning of this game, have sat on their side of the jungle.
Curse can't get past the wave clear. And it's one of those things. They do not want to get lulled into inactivity, but it's difficult when you're constantly just having to clear back the wave. That's one of the reasons Voyboy is going for a Tiamat or a Ravenous Hydra on Lee Sin to get some of that wave clear back.
He sees that he does not have that Blade of the Rune King yet. Voyboy taking advantage of the 1v1 in lane. He only has the vision of Tribrush behind him, so that river, very, very scary position. Seeing that they are now in the wards in the bottom, you can see Voyboy going back in, but no! They pulled him into this one! The flash and the red card was pulled before. They get the death mark down onto him. They're going to try to finish this damage. The flash comes in. He does
make it to the
have
wall.
a ward to make it over the wall and a safeguard, and he's safe.
Burns a lot from Dignitas as well. A good escape from Voyboy, burning his flash at an appropriate time, and thanks to the red card rather than stun, he goes in, but Dignitas tries to go as well.
A face-to-face paranoia. They know that the rest of the team is going to be pushed off. Skara's ulti's down. They're saying, let's fight that. Skara forced to back away. Curse is definitely playing this smart with the amount of mana they have.
And still no kills from this huge amount of skirmishing that's just happened. St. Vicious actually ate a stun right before he would have cataclysmed, and that just paused the fights. He took so much damage during that stun that St. Vicious decided not to go in and caught flashing in again, but doesn't get the kill.
See what they can keep positioning here. That first blood for Voyboy onto Crumbs is going to be quite helpful. Been looking for that gold quite. He is 97 to 88, so Skara is still keeping up with what would be those lanes matched up. And they're going to go back to clearing camps after the engagement. Both teams now have respect for that fight that's coming out of both sides.
And I love watching Voyboy's Lee Sin. He's so creative with the way he goes, and he builds glass cannon too. So his moves are very high risk, high reward. He's got the Lee Sin mechanics that everyone's been talking about, and he's able to pull off those combos. So I want to see how Voyboy deals with this game, knowing there's a heavy split push presence coming out with Dignitas, and skirmishing is what Lee Sin and Voyboy excel at.
Red buff to the top lane. Voyboy now pretty much can't be harassed too much by Skara. He knows he's going to take quite a bit of damage, and there's good mitigation in that 1v1 fight for Voyboy. So he has to play it safe. Hard hats in the top lane as the mid lane getting pressure on 3 towards that Cop.
And Cop is doing a really good job farming. 126 to 102.
Fearless.
It's that Draven. He is really good at Draven now because it's all he's been playing, and he has transitioned himself into quite a good Draven player, but he still needs to find the opportunity to make it work in teamfights.
1 minute on this Dragon. Let's consider what happened with Vulcan last game. Right now, they were, as we said, moving their chess pieces to force.
Ooh, man.
Oh, man. Scar in the top lane, and they may be able to get this Dragon off of what they're doing right now. Quite a bit of focus here. The resonating strike to follow. Wow. The Cataclysm combo of the Wombo.
That was just really cool looking because they kicked him away as Save Visions was Cataclysm gone and just bursted him down. So really nice hide and go seek by Curse there, catching Scar in the lane.
Dragon's going to be up in 20 seconds. They may be able to grab this. We'll have to see how they react. They should continuously push this top lane. It looks like they're going to go back, actually.
And they want to go back so they can get to the Dragon in time. Otherwise, that gank and turret doesn't really give them an overall advantage. I think they actually have time to make it back to base and run all the way down. Also, Voyboy with the second kill picked up a Ravenous Hydra, which is a very efficient gold stat item and really helps Lee Sin burst people down, which is what Voyboy wants to do.
And these items coming out pretty early because you don't have any armor coming out except for the jungler right now, so he is going to be shredding once they jump into these fights. We just saw that Wombo combo happen. It's going to happen again, and there aren't that many dashes gap closers except for Zed and Graves that are getting out of that very easy.
And surprisingly, after Skara gets 2v1 in the top lane, he ran back to the top lane, which exposes this Dragon for Curse. I wonder if I'm a Cutie Pie can steal it again. No, Saint got it this time.
They had to say, you know, we may do something, but we'll try to yeah, it looks like they wanted that, so definitely a mistake by Dignitas, because now they're thinking to late pressure the mid turret, and it's going to catch them off guard for a bit of damage. Curse getting themselves back into position for defense.
Both these teams have to be very apprehensive about the way they teamfight because neither composition is really built around it. Curse is built for strong, I want to say 4v4 fights, because Voyboy wants to be split pushing, whereas Dignitas is really only built for skirmishing and kiting away. If we think of the way Skara, Crumbs, and Kiwi Kid all go in, it doesn't synergize with Patoy, who wants people to get peeled out. So that doesn't work together in a team fight. It only works in the context of playing around the map.
How do you stop a 3-lane split push? You got to do it against them. Both teams trying to spread it out here. Skara stopping for Wolves before he gets over to the side lane. The bottom lane being pressured here by Cutie Pie and Crumbs. Night Jackie, these guys playing hide and seek all day, but he doesn't know he's on a ward and does not take damage he wants to go back into a 1v1 with.
That was a lot of damage for the small combo that Kiwi Kid put out on him. That's one of the big reasons people build Sheen early on Twisted Fate. You can get your stacked deck at the same time as your Sheen and just burst them down. Scar wants to check that bush. It's not a good idea to check that bush.
Ravenous Hydra not even being put off there. You saw a bit of the AoE splash. So he's looking to just combo all of that damage and really change the mind of Skara. It only took a quick step into the bush and then out. Look at Skara again. No, it was not him. It switched really fast. I was like, did he have an Oracle too?
Look out, Jackie.
Onto Jackie in middle. Gets locked down, tries to Spirit Rush away, but he cannot get the movement or the speed.
And because of the earlier gold card that Kiwi Kid had landed, Dignitas knew that Night Jackie was low enough to be killed before he could Spirit Rush away. So very good calculation there by Kiwi Kid and Crumbs, not even having to burn the Twisted Fate ultimate.
That's that whole setting it up, waiting for something to happen, and they really played that cleanly. 3-2 in turrets, a little bit harassed from Patoy as he comes up to help Cutie Pie. Get some damage onto this turret in the bottom lane.
Counter engage maybe though from Curse. St. Fish is jumping in aggressively, but there's no damage in the mid lane here. He's still going.
They go in hard. Kiwi Kid running low on mana, goes for the teleport. He is able to just say, see you later, guys, back to the turret. Crumbs is going to waltz out of this one.
That is one way of getting out of Jarvan's ultimate, so creative use there.
It's great mental play.
Yeah, creative use there by Kiwi Kid. Doesn't even go far away, just clicked whatever was closest and got out of there.
He's just saying, all the crowd control's gone. I'm out of here, guys. A push on the mid turret, however, they do get Kiwi Kid out, but it's enough pressure to take down mid, so it works out for them. They wasted a few ultimates for a good amount of global gold.
Curse has definitely been fighting their way back here because they were down a couple thousand gold. That Ravenous Hydra by Voyboy, and I feel like the map pressure it's creating for his team, being able to shove the lanes extremely fast and then still create the kill pressure, is really benefiting Curse, because it was the kill pressure that got Curse the Dragon. And then it was the confidence from that that's getting them these other pushes in the mid lane.
Getting good damage out of that lane that you usually see a Sunfire cape on. He's really able to participate and be a utility in these fights. Working out well for him in the top. Dignitas answers back at 20 minutes to make it 4-3 in turrets. An 800 gold lead here for Curse due to that kill and a few other tidbits.
And again, the outer shell of turrets is down for both teams, so the game becomes much more open here. And if we think of what team is better in the open, it is actually Dignitas, because they want to be able to force fights with their globals, odd man skirmishes throughout the map. So if Curse can find 4v4s or 4v3s with Voyboy fighting 1 or 2 people, Curse will be in a good situation. But if Dignitas can get really unmanned situations in their favor, they'll win.
It's going to start being difficult, especially if Cop gets a Quicksilver Sash for himself. The Zanya's on to Nijak. He still means he can be focused by the Death Mark, but they can easily clean that one off. So Skara losing options on his initiations really into these fights. So it's going to be a chaotic one if he tries to go for Voyboy or Saint.
And the Dorn Shield still eating up a bit of space in his inventory there, not getting to the Last Whisper or the Black Cleaver like he would have wanted to as far as the pacing of the game is concerned, because of how difficult the early game was for him.
Let's see Patoy feeling like he's having a good game. We have the ability tome coming out on that side so he can put a little extra power into his punch. 2-1 is that score. We've seen them everywhere. It was 0-0 for quite a long time, up to 10 minutes, and we thought it was going to be one of those ramp up and brutally taken down team fights, but it was not. It's still slow rolling for both teams. They are showing each other much respect here in our final match of the day.
And they're keeping the turrets very even. Plus, there's a big back and forth of where they're fighting on the map. It's not like one team is consistently pushing back the other. There is a great back and forth going on here, and I'm waiting for a team to get caught in transit and swing the game.
PewDiePie still on the other side. I'd be very surprised if Dignitas tried anything on this one. They're forced to watch their turret go down. Just good overall movement by Curse, trying to dictate a few more positional moves.
Curse has done a fantastic job of countering the wave clear that Dignitas can put out by providing kill threat on the people that would try to clear for Dignitas. So they've gotten Kiwi Kid to ultimate out just because Jarvan was in mid lane. They didn't even necessarily have the damage. Scar has been constantly threatened because of Voyboy's Lee Sin. It's preventing the play that Dignitas wants to do very well.
There's the Destiny going out. Whoa, he
nice
kicks
kick.
him. Wow, he just went off the screen.
He kicked him before Kiwi Kid could auto-attack him. He knew exactly when he was going to come down and avoided that gank without even having to burn his Lee Sin flash.
It's just no.
Yeah, get out of here.
He said no with a period on the end. 22 minutes in, the kills still very slow. Like we set up every few minutes because it is a very weird thing for this matchup. Usually these guys are just going neck and neck. We said Saint being the one to really have a hand in the engagements, and he has. He's participated in both kills, really ramping up for the team. The mentality here of both teams definitely still very even. Nobody's on tilt. We can see that in their engagements. Quick plays by Kiwi Kid, knowing he can teleport out of ultimates. The ultimates of Voyboy and Saint in the top, knowing they can wombo combo. Both teams are playing perfect right now. It's up to that next engagement or possible dragon that is alive.
And we know that Voyboy is giving Dignitas a lot of problems right now. That's why they tried the Twisted Fate ultimate to gank him again. That's why 4 people were just trying to chase Voyboy out of their base. Awesome play, and it gives Curse this dragon.
Here's a sight stone. They want to get that sight stone.
Can't get it. It's his now. He bought it.
He has that to even be more of a nuisance, and he can play that trickery game that he wants to, get out like Houdini in any situation. So we see Dignitas going back, realizing another dragon has kind of gone to the wayside. We'll see what they come back to lane with. Nocturne trying to be still very tanky, something we see, Big Fat doing as he takes out that champion into the rift.
Yeah, everyone's doing that with Nocturne nowadays, and it makes sense for Crumbs because he is the only tank who's going to be able to dive in. Plus all these other people when they go in just become untargetable a whole bunch. When Scar ults, he just disappears for a while. Kiwi Kid's going to be building his Zanya's Hourglass soon. Crumbs needs to be able to take a few punches if they end up getting to the teamfight phase, which they eventually will.
Scar's sitting on 1,200, 1,300 now as he picks up more CS. Looks like he'll be able to go back and get that Last Whisper quite soon. There's the ultimate onto Edward. Going for the ward. Is it going to be what takes him down? It's only a quick port of 1,000 range coming in from Kiwi Kid, but they are able to hold the fight for a long time. Edward's shield keeps him alive on the backside with a little bit of health. They continue the fight. The charm distance comes in max range. Where's the resonating strike for the follow-up? No, it will not be there. The sonic wave never came out.
The Voyboy shield is also what saved Edward there. 3-0 now for him, and another great play by Curse. They have to get back to stop him and Cutie Pie's push, though.
Cutie Pie onto the turret. He does have that ramped up on the Bloodthirster for full stack, so he is doing a good amount of damage. 246 damage that he has, but he may fall. Oh my gosh! Dodging everything on the blue suede shoes. He has to make sure, though, lays down the smoke screen for a bit of protection and walks out of this one.
So the reason St. Vicious couldn't flag toss over the wall, Edward's still going for him, Cutie Pie. He got a little greedy with that blue buff.
He looks like he may be, here comes Saint over the wall. Cutie Pie looks like he may be losing some stacks here, but he's forced to flash over the stacks.
So still gets away, and I need to talk about why that St. Vicious flag toss didn't make it over the wall. Because you can't put the flag in a wall, it will seek to the closest way of getting out of the wall. And Saint put it a little bit more than halfway through the wall, which essentially made a flag toss happen that's beyond the max range, which meant his Q didn't have long enough range to reach it and pull him towards that. So very slight miscalculation by St. Vicious may have costed them a kill against Dig there.
3-1 at 25 minutes in. It has only creeped up one kill in Curse's favor, but they found a way to keep a near 3,000 gold lead in their favor. The turret's at 4-4. We said the outer ring was taken down. It's been the top lane for both to drop the second one too, which is kind of odd. Not that middle second tier.
It's the Voyboy lane. He's just pushing back and forth. Lee Sin, cross-country runner with a... He's got like a jungle gym set up throughout the lane. He can just make sure...
Trying to jump around.
Get all over the place.
Randuin's as well onto him, so he is definitely building up to be a good amount of utility and tank for his team. They're going to just kind of hang out here until he can get himself out and take a bit of damage.
Just decided to ride a Lantern as well. Didn't want to waste his Sightstone Ward to get out of there.
Why not?
Still a bit of powering up. These guys wanting to catch someone in transit. Still 26 minutes in. Not much has happened. Any disengaged comp has come in from Dignitas a few times. They would have been caught. And now, let's see if Voyboy can escape yet again.
There's the engagement going down. This is the second time they've engaged off of somebody killing a ward. They do find the kill this time. Kiwi Kid gets his hands in the mix just at the end.
Dignitas found the right combination to stop Voyboy. Nocturne went in with his spell shield up. Didn't let Voyboy kick him away. Timed it very well because Voyboy tried to E off the spell shield and then kick, but that's when Crumbs used it.
Oh, Cutie Pie getting caught. You don't have flash this time. They make sure to catch him out of position, and Cop throws the last axe.
So they trade 1-for-1 on getting destroyed by the incredible mobility of both of these teams. They'd use disengage and then they're engaged, but Skara really trying to make some work happen in that top lane.
That turret has been dropped. Like we said, it's been both in the top lane, so now he has eyes on that inhibitor turret. Crumbs and team aren't really trying to engage this, but they are trying to stop Curse from backing here.
40,000 to 39,000 this late into the game makes a very tense situation happen. There haven't been team fights, so these teams, even though you can theory craft how a fight's going to go, they don't really know how a team fight's going to go, and because the death timers are going to be so long, the fight becomes even more impactful.
We really haven't seen what does change fights incredibly is that the Monsoon from Patoy. He hasn't been in many of these fights. There hasn't been that crowd control reduction. Not reduction, but addition to the fight, I should say, that they're going to bring to Curse. We'll have to see with this full Dignitas team if they can get the assassinations in. We just saw it on Voyboy. They're figuring out how to get those 1-in-1 after 1 kills.
And because Curse isn't grouping up and because Dignitas isn't grouping up, we haven't seen the big clashes.
Yeah.
I really need to see even this Baron if we do see the big clash, because these teams can't calculate what happens to run away at the right time.
They don't have vision of Cutie Pie in the bottom lane. They kind of have vision of what's coming at them, so they're definitely going to this. They have good damage. Static Shiv coming out with Bloodthirster, or rather onto Cop.
They gotta worry about the Nocturne steal, but they go fight.
The backside, they get the hook on Skara. He can't even go Shadow. He does get the death mark off, but he goes down instantly after. Crumbs is taking damage. He is forced to just turn tail and try to get away, but he cannot make it up fast enough. And Curse has gone huge on that Baron attempt.
3-4-0. They had a fight that was off man from Dignitas. Cutie Pie was not there, and they're going back for this despite Kiwi Kid and Graves still being alive and Curse being low.
That collateral damage, if Cutie Pie wants in, he has to get into the fight. It is definitely going to be True Grit. The yellow card is there. They're just trying to, oh my gosh, Cutie Pie gets one. That Blade of the Rune King taking them down. No, he actually gets the buff. That's what it was. The red buff to Cutie Pie, allowing him to possibly kite more. But a beautiful Sonic Wave and a Resonating Strike. Voyboy in range. Can he throw down the Tempest? It's not going to be enough. There's no lifesteal enough right now for Cutie Pie, and he goes down.
And they got the Baron amongst all the chaos. Well done by Curse, forcing that at the right moment and making that play work. I have to applaud Dignitas for trying to contest that because it was very close to working, but it was a better play by Curse.
Curse coming up very big with the Baron there. They made sure that nobody could smite it away. They were the only team that could smite it.
They'd gotten rid of the other smite.
They had gotten rid of the other smite.
No threat. Collateral damage was down.
It's when you do it. It's when you want to get it. 30 minutes in on this one. 9-3 now. It's only been one kill recently picked up by Dignitas. Curse has been getting these kills in their favor. That 42,000 to 42,000 is now 4.7 thousand gold in Curse's favor.
And I think Curse is going to be able to get this dragon as well, which will extend the gold lead a little bit more. I want to talk about the thing that led up to the Baron fight, though, once again, because Curse was almost threatening that they were going to go straight for the Baron, and Crumbs actually didn't have his Nocturne ultimate at the time, so Dignitas thought they had to contest because they couldn't rely on having a steal threat, so that's why Scar was poking his head farther in than he needed to. That's one of the reasons he got caught. And since I'm a Cutie Pie wasn't there, it essentially turned into an immediate 5v3. So it didn't really matter that Curse's team wasn't totally built for team fighting with Voyboy. They got a 5v3 skirmish, and then it was just chasing down, which is why they won it so convincingly.
Oh, going on to Voyboy. The death mark is there. Let's see how much damage he can take. It is a good amount. One more card attack. Oh, they get the oh, they did get him with the Ignite Blast on the last hit.
Wow!
2 axes. Whoa, the static shiv damage coming off, capitalizing on the first attack. Stand aside, just hits him in the heels. The Achilles is his problem, and he goes down for the double kill.
Everybody forgot Cop was 3-0 before that fight, and he'd been farming the whole game. He blew up Scar and Kiwi Kid there. Great play.
Jackie trying to come in here, but Toy with the help in the bottom lane, a very nice charm. The Orbit of Deception just missing to the side. Whoa, Jackie going very hard here, almost 2v1ing without the help of the turret. Oh my god, he takes down Toy alone, gets aggressive, goes out 2v1, and he takes him out. The help from St. Vicious on the side, flashes over the wall. The red buff proc definitely means the chase, definitely means the kill. The terror goes down, he's able to get the red buff proc. This will allow Jackie to possibly get in range, but it's just the Dustbringer that allows him to get too far. Cop from the side lane here, he's been trying so hard, a very nice shield, but it's just going to be too much. He's a valiant attempt to get away. The last few acts is going to take him down here, and he will go down to the hands of Cop.
So Curse actually killed all 5 members of Dignitas there in 3 somewhat separate fights, and they still have the Baron buff, so we didn't know if there were going to be team fights in this game, and it doesn't seem like there are, but Curse is winning the skirmish game, and now they push down mid.
And that was an unfortunate way for Crumbs to go down. He led them right with a huge minion wave to the inhibitor turret. Nobody there yet to guard. Curse able to take down the inhibitor with ease.
It would have been great if Crumbs could have led them in the other direction, because then they would have had respawn Dignitas members to be able to get that, but your instincts when you're running away, I gotta stay alive. I have to go back to my home, but it wasn't the right choice.
They look like they're gonna stay here. Oh man.
No. Look out, Kiwi Kid
says, guys, this way. We got a kill coming in. A few attacks. Edward planning that one out for Curse.
You don't see the Shirelia's Reverie that often, but that is why Edward decides to pick it up on Thresh, gets the team going in the right place, and Curse as a team is doing great right now.
286 is the farm in the hands of Cop. He looks to break the 300 mark quite soon as he's soaking up every camp around the jungle, and it looks like that is Curse's jungle. They're going for blue, they're going for wolves, and it's Dignitas trying to reward and get that security system out there.
And Dignitas knows they have a slight window after that Curse push, because everyone had a heap of gold on Curse and they just had to go back and shop it, so no threat for Dig. Those outer wards are of increasing importance too, because they need to know the back and forth of Curse so Dignitas can correctly wave clear the right things to defend their turrets.
The playmaking items are coming out. We're 33 minutes in, and to see a few only 2 core items like a Lichbane Zanya's, those are needed to get into these games to make the plays. We've seen them happening. Red cards are coming out on accident. The initiations are being so much in favor of Curse because, as we said last time, Crumbs' ult was down. Those windows aren't being used efficiently for the impact plays to come in. Another window of opportunity, and he comes in with the ultimate. Kiwi Kid did not want this to happen. He looks good for a second, gets taken out again.
The Ignite does tick out Cop, who was about to go wreck more people, because remember the fight before where he killed 2 people?
Man.
He didn't even have his Infinity Edge then.
Turret's there, they shield the turret, not shielding out St. Vicious tanking. Everybody's out of the range, though. They're able to grab Comes. Boy coming in from the side, but he gets hit up by the Howling Gale. Very nice disengage there. Patoy trying to lead them out of the base. He's saying, follow me right now, but they are going for blood.
They are just diving with reckless abandon.
Gosh.
Lisa Mechanics kicks him away for the kill.
Patoy still running, has the oracles. They don't even want him, though. He's not something that can stop the push on the base without his team. They are going to go right for these Nexus turrets.
And Curse just decided to win here after they picked up that Baron buff. Every fight they went for, they won with ease. They just crushed to end the week here.
Both teams adapted at the 3.5-minute turret. They adapted again to the second top-tier turret coming in. Edward very happy with the results that his team has been having lately. Cops, new Draven, that